Hey, this is Pat, and today we are checking out the all-new Alpinestars GP Pro R4 gloves. Now, the R4 gloves replace the R3 in Alpinestars line. A lot of key feature updates that I really like: more stretch, new knuckle, a little bit of an update to the palm, as well as some aramid reinforcements. So I think Alpinestars is heading in the right direction for the GP Pro R4s, and I really like what they're coming out with. There's going to be a V4 eventually without the kangaroo palm, but what I do like is that this is sitting around the $300 price point, so it only went up $10 since the predecessor came out in spring of 2019. I like that. It's only up $10 for a lot of feature and safety enhancements, and you're sitting just below the Super Tech within their line, which is the Marc Marquez GP gloves from MotoGP. So we're sitting just below that in their line at $300. Again, I think you're getting a lot of bang for your buck for anybody looking out there to get a great glove for the track, for riding around in the canyons, and anybody who's riding aggressively but wants a full gauntlet. I think this is a great middle ground price point instead of having to go with that north of $400 price point in the Super Techs. But as we look at these GP Pro R4s, you're gonna have goat leather main construction with a kangaroo palm and that stretch that I mentioned before baked in. But before I get to breaking down this glove, let's talk about the overall fit. Now, I measure the circumference of my hands right around 8.75 inches, and I fit smack dab in the middle of a size large, and a large is fitting me just fine. I actually want to say, with the amount of stretch they added in this, these are extremely comfortable coming out of the box. I think it's going to be something that doesn't require too much of a break-in period, and I do like that. So you can take them out of the box and head right to your track day, and I wouldn't have to really break these in at all if I was going to use these. I wouldn't have to break them in at all, so I do like that that stretch is really helping for the overall comfort while remaining protective. But let's start up at the cuff and work our way down. It is a double cuff gauntlet style, so you do have the Velcro gauntlet up top with a decent pull handle for getting them on and a lower retention strap at the base just underneath of the palm. At the back of the hand, you do get all this stretch added in down the back with the GPR sublimated logoing over top, but this is all stretch. That used to be leather on the old version, so I do like that they replaced that. Typically when you're wearing a gauntlet glove, you have the leather of the suit tucked in underneath of it, so I like that they switched that to stretch. I think that's a great area that you can sacrifice not using leather and going with a much more comfortable material. And if you take a peek on the outside, you still get the ventilated TPU ulna protector on the outside. Should you hit the deck, that's going to help with the slide with a couple other creature comforts that we'll talk about in a second. It's going to help you slide and not have any sort of bruising on your ulna. It's going to keep that nice and protected. Moving down the back of the hand, you get accordion stretch at the back of the hand and a semi-floating knuckle. It does have some lift to it. It doesn't have too much, but there is a massive, and I'll actually try to show the camera this and show it to our camera guy. You do have perforation at the back to help all that air coming into the gloves escape out. I do wish ventilation was a little bit more in these GP Pros. Adding some ventilation, say at the fourchettes or any perforated leather coming in would have been great, especially for hot track days. But I do like that they're thinking about helping getting that exhaust air out. Typically, you're only wearing track gloves for about 20-minute sessions at a time, unless you're riding in the canyons. But if you're at the track, you're only wearing them for 20 minutes at a time, so you do have a little bit of a chance to help your hands breathe. If you are wearing them on the street, though, it's not going to be too ventilated for an all-day canyon ride or anything like that. So keep that in mind. We do get an updated knuckle. We've been seeing Alpinestars put this on quite a few gloves lately. It's a dual density TPU knuckle with foam underneath. I really like this feature. I think it's a very comfortable knuckle. Replaces just a pure sheet of TPU. I think they're doing a great job with this one. And one thing I wanted to call out is there's an entire aramid liner running down the entire back of the hand. So should you go down in the slide, the leather is going to help with abrasion. The aramid underneath helps with any of the burning and the heat transfer going through to your skin. We saw that with Marquez for years. The leather would survive in his Alpinestars suit, but he would actually have burn marks on his arm because that heat transfer through is actually burning the skin. So we like that they're adding that in. It's things you're seeing in the GP circuit that they're trickling down to everyday consumers, and I always like to reward companies for that. Moving to the fingers, you do have accordion stretch at the base of the trigger fingers. So those are going to be the fingers you're using the most for your controls. So I like that they are reinforcing that. Double layer leather with a little bit of TPR and foam reinforcement. And then you do get the third and fourth finger bridge that helps keep the pinky tight in with the ring finger and help protect that should you go down in a slide. Looking at the outer seam on here, one thing I wanted to call out is it is a full leather covered outer seam, kind of connects to the third and fourth finger bridge, and you do get that aramid. You can actually see the yellow of the aramid liner peeking out underneath there. That's a very high likelihood of a slide zone. If you go down, that's a key area. You want it to keep sliding, so I do like that they're reinforcing that outer seam with a little bit of extra leather as well as that aramid. Coming to the fingers, one thing I want to call out, you do not get touch tech on both the finger and the thumb. We are usually looking for that in most gloves nowadays for more of a track-oriented glove. It's not something you're using any touch tech. You're probably going out for your session and coming back. Your phone's not even with you. If you're out riding the canyons and you're looking that up, you're probably used to pulling over and pulling out your phone and taking your gloves off. So just keep that in mind. You don't get any touch tech in there, but you do get some perforations at the fingers, at the top of the fingers on the palm side, as well as towards the base. And remember, this is an entirely kangaroo leather palm. So if you are in the state of California, just keep in mind you cannot purchase this and have it shipped out there, but we do expect a V4, not an R4, but a V4 version coming in the future. Similar glove that's just going to be goat leather all the way throughout. Synthetic reinforcement at the palm gripper. It's very tacky. It's going to help with holding on to the controls. And what we've seen from Alpinestars for years is a nice patch of stretch at the crook of the thumb and the palm. That's really comfortable, again, for all day comfort. Sitting on the bike, you're going to really notice that one. That's been a feature I really like they've been factoring into a lot of their gloves. Looking at the palm landing zone, there's going to be a little bit of foam underneath of leather. It's 2 layers of leather with foam underneath, as well as that aramid liner. You can see that peeking out for there. I don't like the overall look of the aramid peeking out, but I know that is a marketing ploy because you can tell it's underneath there. So I can completely understand that. Just keep that in mind. It's got a little bit of an unfinished look to it. And you have a TPU slider, again, helping you if you hit the deck and you slide, you want to keep sliding. You don't want your palms to connect with the ground and grip. You want that to slide out, and it's going to prevent snapping that wrist. One last feature I'll call out here is this little flap of leather that helps cover the retention strap down below, so there's no chance of failure on that should you start sliding on it going down the road. The R4s, though, in my opinion, great option from Alpinestars. I think sitting underneath the Supertex, north of like the GP Plus gloves that they have out there, in the price point coming in at about $300. Only a $10 increase for a lot more glove for the dollar. I really like what Alpinestars is doing with these. I'm actually going to be picking up a pair of these for my next track day. I really dig how Alpinestars is making them fit and the features that they're adding in for protection. But if you have any other questions, click that info button. That's going to take you over to the product page where you can read other rider reviews and see what other riders are saying about the R4s. If you still have questions after that, though, give our customer service team a call. They're all riders. A lot of them ride track days. They'll be happy to talk you through and get you all set up for your next ride. I want to thank you again for joining me and taking a look at the Alpinestars GP Pro R4 gloves. I'm Pat, and I'll see you in the next video.